How can the people I care about, and in this case, you're hired to care about appointed elected officials, right, or any foreign leader, you're hired to do that. So I just want to make sure, like, okay, maybe that's outside of the venue, and I get that thought process. And again, that's where the resource and the money comes in. Now we have to go back and figure this out. Obviously, you got to query every source in this area from every single law enforcement agency to determine what this kid said, what he did, who he's involved with, who the contacts were, what he watched, what games he played, whether or not there's some developer who he's associated with. And again, all these things that now have to be done in order to clear whether or not there's another plot to kill this guy. Who else is that? That's a difficult job when you have absolutely no predication. You've done no work leading in. You just did your best, which I get, and now you just hope nothing happened. I hope nothing happens. Holy shit. You never want to feel that way.
No.
Ever. I didn't even feel that way at Maxim, and I can't stand most of those people. You know what I mean? Like, friggin' Jay Ajayi, I still want to choke him again.
Oh, what's wrong with Jay Ajayi?
Oh, he was a dick.
Really?
Yeah, he wouldn't get up when he was supposed to get up. And then he told people to, don't touch him, whatever. And then I don't remember anything else that happened. But
really?
Yeah, but I did have him pretty well. I mean, somebody had him in a choke lock. Yeah. And
who was that?
I don't know. But he was tapping, and
he was tapping.
The person didn't listen. So.
Wait, did they get his knee? He's got a bad knee.
I don't know if we got a bad knee.
Like did they
no.
lock him around his knee? Like full body type shit?
Definitely. I don't think we did. But even we knew all the potential threats in Atlanta because, Atlanta's the rap capital of the world, right? So you had all those issues with rappers coming and wanted to see where they were at, what they were doing, who they were. We did all that. We were a private security firm.
Yeah.
3 of us together. 3 different firms came together to handle this job. And we did it again in Miami.
Yeah. And you mentioned it earlier, by the way, but you guys sent in the information to get the job with RFK privately, and then it was like a week later that dude broke in the police uniform.
Yes, like, hey, I'm on the security team, and nobody found it, And even like my buddy, my West, well, he's not my classmate, but he's running for you guys know his name, Dave McCormick. He's running in Pennsylvania for Senate again. He lost to Dr. Oz, who then lost to Lurch. And if you think about McCormick went with another firm that I don't know how it's working out. He went with a Secret Service based retirees. I don't know how it's working out, but I thought that it would make so much sense for him to go with 2 Service Academy guys, Andy being Air Force Academy, me being West Point. What do all Air Force Academy and West Pointers have in common?
Nothing.
They all got into the Air Force Academy. Sorry, Andy. But he knows that's coming. But, if you think about that as well, it's a game. It's not a game. It's a process. It's an objective process of closing every door. Literally. Why do they seal manhole covers in New York City when the president comes? That's how tight it is. How is nobody thinking about limiting access to any high ground?
Yeah, I have a real issue.
It's resources
with how.
It's resources.
How much that but saying resources about a United States president and presidential candidate is not an excuse. Like, the building is completely unblocked. It has unblocked access directly to the stage. It's an open valley.
Yes.
Like, I kept looking at this and I'm like, what am I missing? Is there, some barn that we can't see there? No, it's literally grass. The only thing between the shooter and Trump was people, and Trump was on a platform and the shooter was up on a roof. So the people, if a bullet goes past them, they get hit, but they're not really even an issue for them.
Dude, it's the same thing. I think about it. Parents do this every day, right? Parents do site surveys and vulnerability assessments every day. They don't even think about it. Right. So, hey, my kid, I live on a busy street. You see those signs, please slow down, drive like your children live here. They're doing assessments. They're determining where can my child get hurt, get assaulted, get taken, all these spots. And they're doing that for themselves. Right. So that's the job. That's risk assessment in a nutshell. How can the people I care about, and in this case, you're hired to care about appointed elected officials, right, or any foreign leader. You're hired to do that. So I just want to make sure, okay, okay, maybe that's outside of the venue, and I get that thought process. And again, that's where the resource and the money comes in. They may have said, you know what, we've got some information. I don't know this. We've got some information that tells us today might be a problem here in Butler, PA, possibly, right? And we need an additional dozen agents. And the memo might have came back, no. We got something more important to do. You know, we can't afford to do that. Take care of it.
That's crazy.
Take care of it, right?
That's
so now
crazy.
what seems like what you, me, any parent, anybody, any grandparent, any parent, any aunt and uncle would walk around and say, hey, my kid's going to be playing over there, and you know, we're all going through magnetometers, but what's the deal with that spot? That's all. That's as simple as it is. Not saying that Secret Service did anything wrong. I don't think they did. I don't think it was malicious where they said, we're definitely not going to do that because that's a great spot to be. I hope not. I hope that's not the case. We'll find out maybe. But they did what they were supposed to do within this area, right? But nobody, whoever's tasking it was, for some reason, again, not malicious, some reason somebody said, yeah, I'm just not going to check these areas out. Nobody said that.
Yeah.
Nobody said that.
Well, the other problem here is that the era that we're living in is one where law enforcement, through previous mistakes that have happened and then were, you know, obviously blown up, has a fear of taking action. So it looks like, and we don't know this yet, but it looks like multiple snipers had eyes on this guy for at least a couple minutes.
Yeah, that's what I'm hearing.
Before it happened. Now people immediately jump to, oh my God, that means they let it happen. What appears to be the case, and there were some leaked rumors about this online, and if you look at their, you know, the one guy, you can kind of see his body language, like there's a lot of stress right there.
Yeah.
I mean, that can mean a few different things, but you look at that and you're like, I'm thinking to myself, they don't want to be wrong.
Yes.
And they don't want to go to prison.
Right.
And that's kind of like, when that's affecting the people who are protecting the most important people in the world, like that mentality, we got a problem.
Definitely. And you make a great point there, because you have not only a sniper, you have a spotter, right? So they're both they're talking back and forth to each other about, hey, this might be the situation. Where's this going? What are we thinking? Who is that person? But there is, where there maybe never was that hesitation, even that split second thought of, oh boy, if I'm wrong, I'm going to jail, right? I'm going to be a year-long trial. I'm going to get death threats. My family's going to get death threats. There is that thought process because of where we're at in this point in time, in this particular point in time.
Mm. Well, you've also changed some of your views on maybe like who Trump is and what certain things he's made of, which I've had
recently.
I've had to reconsider that too. But like you and I have done podcasts in the past. You're a pretty conservative guy, but your roommates were Mike Pompeo and Mark Esper, and you know, the class of 86 at West Point.
Yeah, classmates.
These are guys who worked with Trump. I know Esper obviously didn't get along with him. You had a lot of inside stories. So you had a lot of issues with the guy. But also as someone who's been in combat you did a lot of combat for 8 years, right?
I mean, forces. Well, FBI was probably more importantly, you know, being in situations, being in real shooting situations, which there's a lot of police officers, thank God. There's a lot of law enforcement, thank God, that never has to think about that stuff. They think about it, but it hasn't happened. So they don't have those recollections, right? This guy, he had that. And he rose to the occasion, Trump.
Oh, right.
And that's good enough for me.
Yeah.
That's good enough for me right now, right? Yeah. That's just me. That's my background. That's where I'm coming from. And that's what changed my mind. Very similar. Julian, you and I talked about when I first did podcasts, when we first were together, I was a different person, right? With this religious transformation, it's been different. So I look at things differently. I look at the reason. There's a reason why this guy survived. God has a plan for this guy. There's a platform that God's going to give him now to move forward and do good things, right? Nobody believed that before. This is the survival. This is his trial, and he survived it beautifully.
Thank you for watching the video, guys. If you haven't already subscribed, please smash that subscribe button and check out this clip's full podcast episode by clicking here or in the description below.